Gyatso share Cassini Coso Sonrata, Cassini Daddy Rota, or Mother Javi said, Number Yeda, Check Namba. In a mind said, I'm to Jambricula, you may talk or yes, that Jambras Pemas Kiachimachagore. The Zaman to Gyatso Yudi, Carolina, Conjo Sum di Regia, Sanjo Conjo Choconjo, Kinjo, Consumati, Javi Inche. La Delia Gyatso Joella, Judo Chicarico, Senele, Mansolia, and Chishin, Tran, and Masu Dumale, Chinada, and Maso Dumale, Tago Simbe, Tado Samke, Chiche. Sono domande le che livello sulle ore sera da conjo sulle ore sempre ishibe di ma da cambio che chiusce ore da dambo di samtane dene manzoge hanno garci ore sene anda da male 타고 domale che livello conjo sulle ore samno di ne tane dene manzoge ra마당 신심자 탐조 코르 동안에 껴야지 점녀 conjo 수면 껴 그래 삼백이다 이체디 Gyapuresibi, Lod, Sem Dingi, Ichedi, that Lodi, Jamdros, Jamdrosing, on the Dish, Cassin, the Jamdros, and was so a dish soon. That is so as a dang of the Gyatso to have this Gyatso to have said. That Gyatso to have culture was an on the Gyatso to Jamdro Labjal Lavu, said, and Sanji Son Shebiki, and Gyo to be done, Deep Poyaki, and Tablamang, Son Shed, the Liang on the Lobjon Shedi, that Tursum Gomsum Chenech did that. Good
evening. So we've been looking for the past 4 weeks at the topic of refuge. And this is a particularly important topic for a number of reasons, one of which being the boundary as to whether one is included amongst Buddhists or not is whether one turns towards the three jewels for refuge. If one turns towards the three jewels for protection from suffering, for help and assistance in overcoming suffering. And when in our looking at the topic on refuge, we spoke about some of the qualities of the three individual jewels, the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, and the Sangha jewel. And we also then spoke about the two causes that result in refuge arising within oneself, or that result in one turning towards the three jewels for refuge. So the causes are, first, one reflects on the sufferings, the tremendous sufferings that beings are experiencing in the lower realms, with the understanding that fate potentially awaits us. And thereby one gives rise to the wish to be freed from such a potential, to be freed from potentially falling into the lower realms. So that this fear of the sufferings of the lower realms is the first cause. Its companion cause that leads to the mind of refuge arising within one is a heartfelt conviction, a trust that the three jewels can provide one with protection. It's through turning to the three jewels and following their guidance and trainings that one can achieve a state of liberation from such suffering. And then for this mind of trust or faith in the three jewels to arise, one needs to also reflect on the qualities of the three jewels, gaining conviction, heartfelt conviction, that they do actually have the ability to guide us and thereby us to achieve protection from suffering. Then one can go to refuge, to the three jewels, in a sincere manner, in a manner that's not just a mere uttering of words, but with sincerity. And then we've also, in the last couple of weeks, looked at the precepts or the trainings of refuge. And there were several there, of those which are to be accomplished and the things that were to be turned away from or ceased. But in brief, one can say of the many methods that the Buddha taught so that one can train one's mind and attain liberation from suffering. This is what we need to engage in. So refuge precept is to engage in hearing teachings, reflecting on their meaning, and meditating on their meaning.
Dene sosorarangi denegi ani jamdo konjo suma japso to jamdo che dene sosorarangi ani jamdo labjala laba nashin jene sosorarangi laba nashin hen simjala shala le roba che shala ya ni Gyamdo Jejuya, and Gyamdo Lapja, Yamlin Jihada, Dushana, Sosubi Nuba Gayon, Hone, Shana, Dinishin, and Gyamdo Gulagia, Gyamdo Lapja, Labialia, and Jike Robachores, Pando Dukures, she said kissing Dico on the Shesarada.
We concluded then last week looking at the refuge precept that having gone for refuge oneself, then one has a responsibility to emulate our objects of refuge, to act in society, in the world, as an example of the trainings of refuge. And in this way, we can indirectly, as well as where we can in accordance with our ability, directly influence others, guide others, help them in their own trainings of refuge. So this is where we came to last week, so it's on page 23 and the 5th point.
That is why Danga Conjusum like Gyatso Trebike, Jambrati, so solo tunaya, and Palu Nakio Maria Chichigo, what in my the next 60 Sogi Chiya, Conjo Mitashin, did Domiki, Sixamia, Mashor, Jego Ang Yambachene, Nil Sum Sena Sumdo, Samla Sioto.
We start where we concluded last week, so the second half of the last sentence of the 5th point, and then continuing from there. Not even in jest or to save your life. So this refers to not forsaking your refuge. Oh yes, sorry, a little before. And do not ever forsake your own refuge, not even in jest or to save your life. And then it continues, with awareness of the need to avoid wasting time on mere words, recite from your heart the refuge formula 3 times each day and 3 times each night.
다교마 이치매와 지교마지 군주 땅세대 가서는 와다 군주가 좀 두고 있나 맨나서 태좀 사야다 되는지나 안에 그 군주를 땅아서 책으로 되네 안에 어다데 군주를 잡수도는 군주 겹 투여서 말에 삼바이나 안디야다 군주 땅아서 책으로 그래서 뢰 땅아서도 소외시 미당시도다 되니기 이치의 군주를 이치의 매바 이치의 라송와 있는다 군주를 잡수도 잡로도 매바 차르고 왔다 가지 매바 차 그래서 되니 인상 군주스미야 아주 샘전 탐지고 콜비 동아들 교회의 군주스미 교그리 샘비 이치의 됨 소소소로 투나야 다교 말했어야다 뢰교 말했어 벤디티시로와 benangando diroada 결혼 건조스는 이지기도와 결혼 건조 이지제바이나 안에 benangando 강아테도 결혼 건조스는 이지 파르셔 건조스는 이지 맞아버지 간주님도 저 건조사도 요 말에 판도 말에서 미지시 결혼을 강아도 안주 로고치고 결혼을 칼라도 쿨로데 우이데 안주 제와 라바이나 안간주기 어디 강아테도 강아세 donal 오다 그 셰바들에서다 건조를 판도여서 말하다데 마강가 가르체베네 그 건조 교회에서 개미노아 선배 삼나다지 되는 미텔에 직제바이나 먼저 건조도 뢰다사고 뢰다시고 진짜 따로든 안 되네게 다용 거 되네 멤버인데 결혼 건조 개렘바는 결혼 수기인스 결혼 건조 개말은 바장 아주님도 저 건조서도 여 말에 이지 지교 말 결혼 이지제는 아주 수기인 라베네 다 소연아 양을 거저 동메스 당원은 건조스는 20세 자오 균형이 류기메스 당원은 전에 교 투그레 섬이지 템바데가 소여바이네 가르체베네 균에 지금 되네게 대 이치디 바지 균을 땅에 선배게 언두스전에 삼당 보래지래
Look at the second part of the 5th point. And do not ever forsake your own refuge, not even in jest or to save your life. So here, what the text is presenting is that for our refuge to be sincere, it needs to be of sufficient strength that we would never give it up, even at the cost of our life. Because what this is referring to is what leads one to give up one's refuge is having some doubt, where one's trust or conviction in the three jewels, that the three jewels have the ability to protect us, that trust, if that is wavering, then it is possible that one can be influenced by others or led astray by others. And in this way, one can give up one's refuge. So in order to overcome this doubt, one needs to engage in the reflections that have been presented so as to make one's trust or one's conviction in the ability of the three jewels to be able to provide protection from suffering, to be a level of trust that's free from doubt. And the way then one measures the level of trust that's free from doubt is if one were to be in a situation where one was challenged and said, when you either abandon the three jewels from your heart, or I will kill you. Then, in it's such a dire situation, even then, if one's trust in the three jewels doesn't waver, then one has gone to refuge with sincerity. So that is quite an extreme illustration. A more common or more likely illustration would be if someone were to criticize one's reliance on the three jewels and say, I can help you better than them, I can help you overcome your difficulties, I can fulfill your material needs, rather rely on me. So that's maybe something more likely that one is to encounter. And there again, one's conviction in the ability of the three jewels to provide one with lasting protection from suffering should be developed by this point to the point where it's unwavering, where it's not influenced by any doubt.
지금 권초세도 여러 이치체변에 칸의 발이야 아니 지금 제모라 제다 아니 지다 권초세도 권초 잡숨세도 요말세다 권초숨이 누가 다들 껴베 니버도 권초를 요말 껴고 말해서는 칸의 발 직접나 제모라 제네 되네 시요 말해지래.
Furthermore, we advised here that not even in jest. This then means not even joking that, there's no such thing as the three jewels, that don't exist, or that they don't actually have the ability to provide one with protection from suffering.
가르를 고르시는데 두 소소 검 삼당 고래셔 삼당도 가르 삼당은 당에 권조스면 이치에 누가 타다 교배 권조스면 교그리 스타데 디교그리에서 디네기 이치 등에 권조스면 교그 있나면서 태좀 사야다 교그 말했으면 삼노도 윤에 당에 메스네 당할 소를 강할 사야도야 강할 체제 결혼기 권조스는 발류에 등에 우리 앞으로 저거 책임 남나 디 발류기 메 당아 결혼디 파말에 등에 수긴 라베네 데네낭이 들리게 선배게 되는 게 다디네 이시디 싸우기 들리게 선배게다 이시디 두 지긴 선배 삼로치다 아니야 지게 소수게 제모다 되는 게 칸에 바랑이디 권조스니 요 말에서야 다 권조스는 격투 말에서 지디 싸우기니 시기메 선배게 삼로나래 두시네 안에도 곰 삼당 그래제 소수가 곰고로 곰시소 그래지 그래 되니기 곰바이나 삼로데 뉴바 체르고로와.
The meaning of this precept is that this is a point for us to include in our refuge meditation. Whilst we're developing this ever greater mind of refuge, this ever greater conviction that the three jewels have the ability to guide us so that we can attain freedom from suffering, we develop this to the strength of that, the strength of conviction that no matter what obstacles I encounter, no matter what difficulties I encounter, I will not allow doubt to overwhelm me. I will deal with the doubts skillfully and not allow them to overwhelm me. Rather, I will continue to contemplate on the Dharma, develop these minds within me, seeing that this is how protection from suffering is achieved. And here in our reflection, the certainty is of such a level that one wouldn't even in jest make jokes about that one doesn't have trust in the three jewels, that one doesn't have trust in the Buddha Dharma, for example. So here this training is included here that for us to include in our meditation, because through reflecting on it repeatedly, this conviction will grow in strength.
Nil sum chen sum de sam si de denige samya de shoge pa samya da nime gon liang de jun da nime nenga sam da ma ra ne shoge char chi sam da de ningu di wa char chi ne gong da samari ka me ni ga ya char chi sam da ya da da de ne ya ni du ga ya chen ne sa ru cha ne ya ja da me ni ye ya chi sam da de ne ni cha wa na chen na ya chi ni se yo de han de consciousness ya dunga ta de kyobe consciousness kyobris dine da dine ge samodi han ji ni kanga ga si thewe na lu me sampe ge no gyapsu tu gyamro de jigin sampe ge samta han de ya shu ge ngobu ya je nam me sin ye ya han de ne ya chi samta chi da dine za nga zo ni ngo de wa cha sum samta gwa da de ya cha du chin de samla dang gong gu le chi le.
The meaning of this line, reflect on refuge 3 times each day and 3 times each night. It's another way of saying, reflect on refuge throughout the day. From first thing when you wake up in the morning, turn your mind towards refuge. Throughout the day, varying intervals, recall refuge, ensure that it's staying manifest, present within oneself. And then right at the end of the day, before one lies down, turn one's mind to the 3 jewels, and at all these points, gaining ever greater conviction that the 3 jewels have the ability to protect one from suffering, to guide us in our spiritual development, which is what does protect us from suffering. So here we are being advised to keep this thought present throughout the day, and until that if we are able to do that throughout the day, then at regular intervals, starting from when we wake up to when we lie down in the evening, we should consciously generate the mind of refuge.
Some down show me about Geshe as a man down at Gori in it, and usually tell some tango, sugar ya, lounge, and I'm saying, ya, how do you chick some down, you would do some down. Then a conta cala mazan, chick some just you will sell some check. Then that many nearly a chick, Sarip and many nearly a chick some shit down. Then yes, and send out 1 year 7, that's an out ya need to chick some down. Then sugar ya, nam, say, let me sit there, you see, or then some down. Dangures, then usually on to Chanagolia, and then Lensum some down to Yada, Niwolia, Lensum down to Yadi, those Chandor Chevores, the dilemma, Kaze, Machi to Nakivaya.
For those who take this on as a training, then the first of the times one would reflect is when one wakes up, and then in the morning period, or the pre-lunch period, one would reflect on refuge a couple more times. Similarly then, in the afternoon and the evening, and again when one goes to sleep, then another 3 times one would reflect on refuge. And in this way, one would fulfill this advice that's presented here, to reflect 3 times each day and 3 times each night on refuge. But one should not take this as, well, I've done my 6 for the day, I'm done, that's now a commitment fulfilled. If you reflect on refuge 6 times each day, this is very good, but one shouldn't feel that is a boundary, that one can't or shouldn't reflect on refuge more so. This take as the guideline, take it as a minimal requirement. So what one is really striving to do is to ensure that the minds of the Dharma stay ever present within oneself, ever manifest within oneself. So this is part of our training of mindfulness, of being mindful of the 3 jewels, of the Buddha Dharma. So for one's training, take this then as a minimum requirement.
Denige Jando Che, some of the Gazette Tembaina, Julia, and the Jamro de Tempune, Nitua, and the King and Ganechumi, Jamro de Mato, Lamsa, and Conjus Gyatso, Jamro de Teheda, Tangazu, she can sublet in Conjusum, can semi Conjusum Devata, and those Kiagi, and Tehadi Ligorva. 당은 템포라 매바나 템포라 매바나 안에 지티 되스고 고녀한테 템포라 맞춰바나 안에 가서 한강아 체험도 미션다 직계라체 담 민첨보 요딩에 지다 안지기 어다딘 진짜 제마제 요말 판도 요말이 요말을 교원 고나 수월에서는 미지게 되네 시제 안 교원인 안주기도 셰베네 안주 로고 제시와 교원 강아 세기를 된 라베네 삼로도 규조에게 냥아 첨본 거로 아야 지 되네지나 교원 되네 제베네 지금 말 교원한테 속도 땅에서 시나 고 이제 교원 되네지는 수여생인 라베네 안디네야 시나지네 시데 어다디 파 뢰생에서 때문에 또야게 냥아 용거로 와 되네 인자 안주게까지 장도를 채베네 곰지까지 숙체베나 아니 곰그 채베네 곰 누바 삼로 나라 누바 숙체셔로 거와 다 누바 숙체로바나 아니 안주게 건주스나 대바디까지 숙체로베네 건주스게 랍자 냠는데야 아니 냠는 제게 되버 숙체리 거래 냠는 제게 되버 숙까지 채베네 나네 냠는 제용으로 와 냠는 채베나 아니 안주게 야 겨와치마 하다미고 토야 규사고래 근데 달바다 탐제 기묘고 규사고래 제가 달바다 탐제 기묘고 토야리야 다 년이 주고로
As with all meditation topics, the more one applies oneself, the more regularly one applies oneself to a particular meditation topic, the more familiar one becomes with that meditation topic, which means the impact it has on our way of thinking becomes ever more profound. So if one reflects on refuge, for example, just every now and again, then one will have some experience of refuge whilst reflecting on it. But the more that one reflects on it, the more stable this mind will come. First in meditation, and then between meditation sessions too. And it is of great importance that the minds of the Dharma, in particular here the mind of refuge, is stable within us. Because if it is unstable, if it's fleeting, or if it comes and goes, or if it's weak in strength, then if we meet someone with a great reputation or someone who's charismatic, they can very easily influence us. Or even someone of no particular renown but a good friend of ours, they too can influence us and influence us to engage in behavior that is not in accordance with the Dharma, to engage in activities, for example, to go fishing or other kind of clearly harmful behavior that is not in accordance with the Dharma. But on the other hand, if we have a stable meditation practice, then the topics of our meditation, such as refuge, will become stable within us. We will not be influenced by others, and moreover, our mind will transform. And in addition to this, and what follows from our mental transformation is, as the minds of the Dharma, such as the minds of refuge, grow in strength within us, then the opposing minds, the minds that are contrary to the Dharma, they proportionately weaken. Therefore, we accumulate ever greater merit, ever greater causes for good rebirth, ever greater causes for liberation and enlightenment. And therefore, as our meditation practice develops, the attainment of liberation and enlightenment grows ever nearer.
안데라 되네 아니 연전 셰바 셰바라 셰바 케일랑바 셴도 미마미요 거네 인래 숨 챈래 숨 삼바타바네 안접로 자오 시티지다다 되네게 삼마 단수들이야 아니 건조스미 연전 셰제 아니 될이야 아니 점도체야 아니 건조스미 셰바라 셰비 토네 점도체야 아니 건조스미 케일랑베 토네 점도체야 아니 셴도 미마미요 거네 점도체야 세데 Nilson, Chenlosum, the nigger, some Tanhantelia, and the Indian Sheba, Chabar Sheba, Kailang by Shen, Mimoyo Gone, and Dustin some Tachi, and the Nilson, Chenlosum, said, Jehore said to Sumudwa.
And then this concludes. So just to say, in the Tibetan, we don't have the Namagurubhya, that was just included, or inserted. So then to conclude here in the text, while doing so, maintain awareness of the unsurpassed qualities of the three jewels, and of their individual uniqueness and your commitments. So in other words, here this next paragraph then is talking about what to have in mind whilst reflecting on refuge, that one must maintain an awareness of the unsurpassed individual qualities of each of the three jewels, as well as the individual unique qualities, and your commitment to these trainings that we have been covering over the last couple of weeks.
상예기 연대 최유 연대 최 상교권주 연대 안에 최권주 연대 삼다야 되는 개념 거주 연대 삼다제 아니 될이야 대바 대바게들 제가 상이 연대 삼다야 상이 구유 연대 순구 연대 투유 연대 어두신에 또 연대 삼다제 되는게 안에 상이 구유 연대들이야 안찬상보 숨제 잔이 빼마시 되는게 여바다 한삼다야 안사이게 투유연대 될야 최탐 정어숨도 또봐 다 마켐바시다 가야는 봐 최탐 정어숨도 봐 탈침바리에서다 아니 제와 안에 사이게 아니 그래서 순구연대 될라 아니 그래서 투유연대 캠베연대 제연대 용으로 샘자 탐절에 잠바다 제와 유대봐 근데 되게 니링메 봐 되게 연대인데 사이를 요래 세다 안 사이게 when
one needs to reflect on the unsurpassed qualities of the three jewels, in reference to the Buddha jewel, one reflects on the qualities of the Buddha's body, of the Buddha's speech, and the Buddha's mind. And the mental qualities, of course, include, the mental qualities have two components, that of wisdom and that of love and compassion. So that of wisdom refers to the omniscient consciousness of the Buddha, the way the Buddha in each moment directly realizes everything that exists, every existent, all phenomena. This unsurpassed, perfected wisdom, a wisdom that is flawless and developed to a state of perfection. And in addition to the quality of the omniscient consciousness, the Buddha's mind also has perfected love and compassion for all sentient beings, and thereby with these qualities of love, compassion, and wisdom, engages in enlightened activities to be of greatest benefit to all sentient beings.
감나 매바 삼바의 팀벽에 안치 나소바의 두 바도 매바 송요래 제가 되네게 송바래 되네 상지가 송시벽에 최대량한 저기 퇴섬 공점 냠낸 제가 있나 하는 거는 저네 안께와치 마타담이고 와 토야다 동아 탐제 빠셔 탈벽고 와 토야 안에 샘전 탐지교도 안잠 이제 전주샘 냠낸 제 동요도 베셔라 냠낸 제네 안에 상지고 와 토토야 두고요래 되네자 상지기 되네게 송 최바도 매바 송요래 뱀마시베 다나 저야 getting chimbo da pando chimbo shure some taidi that's like your sungu yende chagro.
The quality of the Buddha's speech is that the Buddha teaches precisely in accordance with the individual personalities and needs of each being. So precisely with what, in accordance with the type of teaching that a being will benefit most from, and then presenting it in a way that's perfectly in accordance with their personality. A Buddha and a Buddha alone is able to do this faultlessly. And therefore, when there is unsurpassable benefit that comes from hearing the teachings of the Buddha Dharma and reflecting on them and meditating on them. So therefore, when one reflects on these qualities of the Buddha, this, or the Buddha's speech, this gives one ever greater a desire to hear teachings, reflect on them and meditate on them, because one will understand that these are the correct and unmistaken way to accumulate the causes to achieve a good rebirth in our next life, to develop the qualities that will eventually ripen in liberation from suffering, that will ripen in the attainment of bodhicitta and even Buddhahood itself. So such a desire to engage in the practices of hearing, reflecting and meditating come about in dependence on these reflections.
Gotenda Lamdin Nidela Chokonjo. That is not the Chokonjo said, Maranzu Gulakevaina, Maranzuginan, Gulakeson by the Pabe Kansa Chaba. Chokonjo Gulaki, Sosara and the Pabe in Pabe Kansa Charu. Sosara Kinungo Charu. Tis not done on Songi, not only Kimoa Charu. Tis not on Songa Taru. Tis not the Nigi Chokonjo Yende, and the Yenden Sosara, not only Tawa. And the Sosora Pabe Kansa Chaba, Sosora Ginungo Chagore. That's Sosora Ginungo Chabana, Ginungo Joga Karjos, she has him Jen, Koata, Dumale, Tayagi, Raw, and the Geshe Thubten Rabten, Rogia, Lamdunjia, Chigor, Chesa Dinins, Sosoragi, Dinichi to your Shana, Pampa Yachimu to your Chagor, Chedinza, and the Chica Chokonjo said, Pemas Yunden Dinitu said, Chokonjo said, and then Chokonjo the Dinigi, Yamnet Yaya, Tachim, Yaya Jodu, and Yomoba Malupa, Pompe, Pompa, said Toyo didn't, Jachumba said Chatwore. And the young man, Dine Yana Yadu Combaina, and then Tiba Pasha, the Tiba Point, and the Sanki said, Child, it's not Sanju Concho said, and also the Chatu, it's not Chu Concho said, Pemas Yunden Chimbu, she Pemas Yakuresha said, Undusine, Chu Concho Yundia, some Tabaina, that Chu Concho Tobu Dumbati, Dunya Shuche to Warova. That the Tobiaga Dunya Dumba Shuche Joana, the Toyaga Tablam de Leon to Bezu Shuche Gore, but then the Nebezu Shuche Javana, Manzu Toyaga Tanya and Yatoyada, and Tabatam Jakimbo Toyala, Tanya to Gorova.
The more one reflects on the qualities of the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha jewel, the stronger our faith or our trust or our conviction in the Buddha jewel will grow. And similarly too with the other jewels, such as now the Dharma jewel, the more we reflect on it, the more of a transformative impact the mind of refuge will have on us. So the Dharma jewel, again, to remind us, is the true cessations and true paths within the continuum of Arya beings. So these realizations that are of the true paths and true cessations. So these realizations in the continuum of Arya beings is what is meant by the Dharma jewel. So here in the reflection on the Dharma jewel, and as we have here the unsurpassed qualities of the Dharma jewel, then we reflect that through us hearing teachings, reflecting on them and meditating on them, they will grow in strength and quality within us. And as they grow, the understanding of the Dharma grows into realizations throughout this process of development. As the qualities within us grow, the contrary afflicted minds weaken, eventually to the point where we come to gain a direct realization of emptiness, and we give rise to the Dharma jewel within our own continuum. And at that moment when we give rise to the Dharma jewel within our own continuum, we become an Arya being, and we become an illustration of the Sangha jewel. And so that, of course, will come through repeated meditation over a sustained period. But long before achieving such an exalted goal, one will be accumulating a vast store of good causes that will ensure that one does not fall into the low realms, but attains good rebirth after good rebirth. And as one progresses spiritually to develop ourselves, the positive impact that we can have on others, this grows too. As we transform ourselves, our mere example that we set for others has a beneficial impact. Let alone as we become ever more skilled and we can become a guide to others. We can guide others how to develop good qualities within themselves. And when we give rise to the Dharma jewel within ourselves, we'll be ever more skillful in how we can guide others to attain freedom from suffering. And as we develop, having given rise to the Dharma jewel within ourselves, we'll come to completely eliminate the afflicted minds together with their seeds. We ourselves will attain the realizations of a foe destroyer. Moreover, as we then develop further, we will completely eradicate even the stains of the afflictions and attain Buddhahood, the state of perfection. So all of this comes about in dependence on receiving teachings, reflecting on them and meditating on them, striving to develop the Dharma jewel within ourselves. So this then is the reflection to do on the qualities of the Dharma jewel.
Denege gymche mango sam da je dos chene ne jige yenden de ba temba yina an ji gymche mango sam da ne ji hen de yenden de de an deba de an ji o de sung yenden tong yu tong ne deba ji ya tu yenden tong yu tong ne ye deba ji ya an ji gu yenden tong yu deba ji de deba de an ji go 가산에 대바도 숙체기 오래. 지산 디네도 양내 양도 전에 안지 구송 투수 연된되게 안에야도 점벌 제바이나 대바도 숙체를 줘야다. 대바도 숙체야다. 대바도 균형부 땜부기고 오래 제대. 지산 대바데까지 숙체와다. 아니 지 대바 숙체와다. 대바도 윤리원 내바는 디고묘도 안사기 연된 소소나 통제 되는게 통어도 안 소소나 되는게 연된 데 사기 등 해야 되는게 사기 이거 맞으면 지금 톱고도 선배게 된 자주 샘기야를 팽고를 샘기야 용구です. 지산데네자 아니 고송도 연된 재미 통에 아니야 건축선나 접수 조고를 해야 돼. 연된 시에바다 연된 시에베권에 접수 조서야 되시고 되는지라 보라.
As one point to re-emphasize here is that the way meditation works is that through doing the same meditation repeatedly over a sustained period, it is that meditation, repeated meditation on the basis of knowledge that leads to transformation. So through reflecting on the qualities of, for example, of the Buddha jewel, the qualities of the Buddha's body, the Buddha's speech and the Buddha's mind, the more one reflects, the greater the transformation or the greater the impact it will have on one's mind. And one will one's mind will firstly readily turn towards the three jewels. And moreover, when one's mind turns towards the three jewels, it have an immediate and powerful impact on oneself, a transformative impact, ensuring that our way of thinking stays in accordance with the Buddha Dharma. And as one continues in meditation, repeatedly over a sustained period on the same topic, then the realizations start to become longer lasting and more stable within oneself. In other words, our mind, our way of thinking starts to transform. And as we start to see our way of thinking transforming, and as we see our way of interacting with others, our way of dealing with life's difficulties being transformed, this will give us ever greater trust or faith in the Buddha and in the Buddha Dharma, because we are experiencing this transformation. And as we start to gain this ever more profound faith in the Buddha and the Buddha Dharma, so too will the wish arise within us to also become a Buddha, because we will be starting to experience the great results of the Buddha Dharma. This wish to become a Buddha then, as this grows ever stronger within us, makes the attainment of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, which has as its component this desire to become a Buddha for the sake of others. This mind of bodhicitta then becomes ever easier to generate. The attainment of bodhicitta comes ever nearer.
Kebra sheba kone japsu chuwasu da kebra sheba de sanyu konjo chu konjo kidung konjo sedi kane yimba de hago ha che de japsu chuwore si or kebra sheba se de chizada sanyu konjo sedi kane le lamna mombor zoba sanjeba on gyön kun sang se de gyön gi rik chasa meba se ban chawa de sang se de men ge se de yenden toggo yenden chasa tusu chuba de la na chuba de ge sang ge se de chizada mombor zoba jang chuba da toggo gi yenden chasa top chawa de nyomo berik banggo rik 지바 탐제 빵차와 되네 안 되는지라 상기권 줘 시구리 해서죠 어두스는 뭐 소야 되라 상기권 줘야 되지 시구리 되네 대치권 줘야 돼 안에 가서 그러시네 다 상기기 아주게 탑람 람 냠린 뚠샤바 될이야 아주게 퇴섬 검소지 냠린 제네 안에 검 잡냐 아주기라 안에 곡된다 람제 세야 람제 스키어도 데니기 끼야바디 다 고텐다 람데 니보티 데니지 끼야바디라데 고텐 람텐들라 추고절에 고레스 제자디 제우 상기의 송셰비게 퇴 롭든지베 델량아도 퇴섬 곰숨제 냠는 제도 곰발에 때네 제부 갈리게서는 안 마오방아 주길라 람덴스를 줄이게 그래서 진짜 람덴의 줄이 꼭대에서 나가 줄이게도 진짜디 냠는 제발에 된 제부디 하는 아주 람덴다 꼭대에서 디 람덴다 꼭대에서 되네지래 최고절에 해야지 뭐야 소야 되리래 다 기준고 조사야디 하는 사이의 송셰비게 아니 람디게 소소라 냠는제 아니 람딘다 고든 귤에 제사지 냠는제네 소소게 냠는제네 어두스네 냠는 나한테 다 파베 가사들에 기능 거쳐라 거래서 되니게다 사이의 건조 되니리 최건조 되 기능 거 되니리 진짜 내숨들 교 변유바 요래서 이시진 이시 제디다 연대 캬브르 12권에 접수라한테 되네
So whilst reflecting, looking at the text, whilst reflecting on refuge, or reciting refuge, the refuge formula, and reflecting on its meaning, we should maintain awareness of the unsurpassed qualities of the three jewels. So I've just made reference to some of those, and of their individual uniqueness. So the individual uniqueness, here we can think of, for example, of the Buddha jewel. So Buddha in Tibetan, the word for Buddha has two syllables, sang and ge. And these two syllables show the perfected state that a being that is a Buddha has achieved. So sang refers to this complete abandonment of all faults, that the afflictions have been abandoned, the seeds of the afflictions have been abandoned, and even the stains of the afflictions have been completely eradicated. So the continuum of a being that is a Buddha is completely stainless, free of any fault. So this is the first of the individual uniqueness, unique qualities perhaps of the Buddha. The second then can be from the second syllable. The first was sang and the second is ge. And this means all good qualities have been attained. So whatever amongst a vast array of good qualities, all of these have been developed by a Buddha, and not just developed, but developed to the state of perfection. So what's so unique about the Buddha is not that faults have been eliminated and good qualities have been developed, but that faults have been completely eradicated so that there's not even the slightest of trace, and that good qualities have been developed to the point of perfection. So this is the meaning of the word Buddha, sang, ge. This is the individual uniqueness of the Buddha jewel. The Dharma jewel, then, we reflect that the Dharma jewel are the true cessations and true paths in the continuum of Arya beings, and those are what we are striving to develop within ourselves. All the realizations of the path, becoming an Arya being ourselves, becoming an illustration of the Sangha jewel ourselves. And the Dharma jewel is something we can and will develop within ourselves, and it comes about in dependence on being skillfully guided and training our own minds precisely in accordance with the way that we are guided. And if we do so, we follow the advice well, we can be certain that we will give rise to the Dharma jewel within us. And then thirdly, the Sangha jewel. So these are our companions, our guides on the path, those who have achieved Arya paths within them, within their continuum, and are still striving to achieve enlightenment. So these are the Sangha jewel. And as one reflects ever more on the qualities of the three jewels, our trust in their ability to provide, to guide us to attain a state freed of suffering will grow ever more stable and ever more firm.
나 케이랑 비게고네 접송하시고래. 나 케이나 비고네 접송하시도 가르송으로서네. 다 케이len 바시데 가르 케이링 와서네. 상제 건초디 캡템보 보레스. 지상 상제 건초 디기 캡템보 보인다 가르송으로서네. 아주 코와다 동할로 되게 탑람다. 탑바다 탐지 김고 토양 탑람디 마노와 마추바디 아니 아주라 감나 매발 첨바디 수딩거 상여 점된데 순거를 제선 겹된캔디 수딩 상여 점된데 상여 점된데 최고조 그 상여권조세 겹된버버리세네 소소 켈레바디 겹된버버리세네 켈레바디 켈레 엔델라 겹소 제선 겹된버버리세네 켈레바자 마노와 마투바 상라 마노 덴투베데 덴바상여 점된데 제자 겹된버코 된 싱글에서 켈레넨델야 아니 마둥알 겹투브리 셈베게 이시지야 켈라베고네 겹수도 대 최고조라 인가 저기 켈라베고네 겹수도 최고조서도 곡된의 람딘세데 최진고조서도 나주길에 깨바이나 다 파베 가사 차르고래 제가 파베 가사 차네 맞아 냠는 제반데 야 최고조 길에 깨어되네 저기 다 나선에 타르고래 나선에 깨와면 봐 깨고고 말에 진짜 진짜네 최고조는 길에 깨잖아 나선에 길에 깨고 말 근데 되네 저기 야네 양도 드는 야 곰다반데 최권주 做 냥디 세주와 做 최권주 난 做 냥디 세데 아주 길로 톱소나 거의 동안 타달을 줘서와래 지상 다좀 봐서 토고래 지상 거의 동안 타달을 줘주고래 지상 최권주 세데 겹모네 디스커션 최권주 겹모에 레샤 스가르스네 저게 냠렌진의 최권주도 길에 깨도 나선래 야 타야당 최권주 디 냥디 세 토모도 거의 동안 타달을 줘야 돼 저희도 곡된다 람데디 길레제도 야지에도 거기 동안 탈라줘 두고도 왔어. 제가 디마지에 봐도 한쪽이 퇴성 가제 제외나 최고도 길레제 두고 매나 다 나선래 타두고 말 거기 동안에 타두고 말해. 그래서 거기 동안에 타야 돼. 동안 타달래 타야 돼. 최고조지 지고 최고조 做 냥데디 길레제도 되네 거기 동안 달래 줘주고 그래. 그래서 제상 거기도 동안 달래 줘와래. 지는 띵기 대기도 톱차와래. 제가 디토 최고조도 겹모에서 해야 돼 최고조를 했어. 다 로도야 돼 칼라 레지디디 로도야 되 말이지 칼라사세네 로도야 오늘 디 칼라오는 사데 자그로 디나르와 어디 제 최고조도 겹모에 새벽에다 모임바 레샤 세네 디네 켈레네 켈림베 토네 겹모에 레샤 상 켈레 디네 제산 디토 우도 신델레 되니게 딜레 껴베다 동안에 껴베 뉴바데다 최고조도 두 세디 이시셔야 돼.
최강하죠. 나도 저 가도 양켜도요 안용기 말에 가서
양대 토교 양대 자주메 제보 통원도 되는 거기 동안 기내 빵사라 동안요 기내요 말와 나가서 그래 꼴 람딘 줄에게도 ngande 동안에 계서 이내 거기 동안에 타요 말 김팀어 방이 하대요 뭐 그 나선에 깨요 말냐와 이다 둔조 대디게요 말때 미다 타다 밀게요 말도 예 말.
And then looking at the third component here, that of your commitments. The commitments here that one has in mind, bears in mind whilst reciting refuge, is that the commitment then in relation to the Buddha jewel is that our founder Buddha Shakyamuni, is the teacher of refuge. And being the teacher of refuge, he taught a vast array of methods, of techniques to his students, that through them applying those methods in meditation to their own minds, they will achieve causes for good rebirth, they will achieve even liberation and enlightenment. And this vast array of techniques that the Buddha taught are the unmistaken path that leads to good rebirths, liberation and enlightenment. And moreover, the Buddha taught these same techniques in a variety of different ways so that they were perfectly in accordance with the various dispositions of beings. So here we bear that in mind. And then in relation to the Dharma jewel, and the Dharma jewel is of particular importance because the Dharma jewel is the actual refuge. And the reason why the Dharma jewel is said to be the actual refuge is the Dharma jewel is true cessations and true paths. And that is what we are striving to achieve within our own continuum. So the Dharma jewel currently exists in the continuum of Arya beings. But we are striving to develop that Dharma jewel, those true cessations and true paths, within our own continuum. So why is the Dharma jewel then said to be the actual refuge and not one of the others? Is because when one does achieve the Dharma jewel within oneself, one becomes an Arya being and one attains freedom or liberation from rebirth in the lower realms. One will never again be born in the lower realms. One will only take rebirth as a human or God. And moreover, with this tremendous spiritual development that one has attained, one is that much nearer to achieving the state of liberation, the state of nirvana. When one achieves nirvana, one is liberated from suffering in its entirety, from cyclic existence in its entirety. So again, the reason why the Dharma jewel is the actual refuge is when one achieves the Dharma jewel, one is liberated from rebirth in the lower realms, and one is that much nearer to attaining nirvana itself, and thereby attaining freedom from suffering in its entirety. So in this way, as we recite as we recite the refuge prayer and think about our commitments, we do so thinking in this way to gain ever greater certainty that the three jewels have the ability to provide us with protection from suffering. And how so? It's through studying, reflecting, meditating, and giving rise to the Dharma jewel within us that we achieve protection.
다 기능 고조의 접두에 다조래 세대 켈림비고네 접수도 세상 기능 고조 세대 코로나 중에 냠는제 아니 코로나 중에 파비 람 고테나 람딘 줄에 제대비그레 제대면서 파비 강사 코로나 중에 람 냠는제 알아 아니 코로나 중에 아니 중앙 줄이야 판도 같이团내 판도 두고 로고 지기리 있는데 되네자 기능 고조의 접두에 다조래 세대 켈라네 안델이야 이시시에 저기 가서데 Gyatso Dhaya Chesandine Gyabdo Kelan Bigone Gyatso Dhaya Setsuro Sanyu Concho di Gyab Dumbo Boy Makele and Dela Gyatso Dhaya Chio Concho di Gyab Muemba Kele Muere Samje Dela Gyatso Dhaya Kirugo to the Gyabdu Tarore and Denigi Sameke Kelan Betone and Dela Gyatso Dhaya Dela Kelan Bigone Gyatso Dhaya Sigore.
Thirdly, the Sangha jewel. So these are Arya beings who have achieved true cessations and true paths within their own continuum, who have achieved the Dharma jewel within their own continuum. And they serve as our companions in our spiritual practice, companions in our cultivation of our own mental paths. They will always accompany us, always help and assist and guide us in our spiritual development and in the achievement of our own mental paths. So here, when we reflect on the commitments of refuge, in brief, we refer to the Buddha jewel as being the teacher of refuge, the Dharma jewel as being the actual refuge, and the Sangha jewel as being our companions.
다 챤도 미마외고 내접서 좋아해야 돼. 챤도 미마와셔야 돼. 디시월다. 간제 만주기 겹된 법아 상여 좀 된데 해야 되다. 겹된 법어도 균 차상 방차와 연된 차상 된템바 저 균군지 연된 군대지제 제가 상여 좀 된게 안취 가리 송바 노와다. 나는 추바다 진되게 송바 차상 강 송바 감다 매발을 땜비기 다 상여 되는 그 신경매세에 되는 균이요 말처럼 최된바 탑라 캐바다 되는 사다. 근데 사지기 손시비 최대의 양안 중에 냠는 제바 이나 다니 냠는 제바를 때네 아니 마주게 마대 깨와지 말하다 미고 톱투야. 대래 냠는 숙체제 두바이나 아니 탈비고 뭐 톱투야. 대야 심제 탐적이 돈도 삼다지하서 잠니제다 동유튜브에 셔럽기 심비고네 냠는 제반 사이고 뭐 톱투고 그래. 지상 데네게 권초 숨기 연된다 아니 지 연된다 하고 왔지 아니 데네에서 다 나사지게 타바다 탐지기 비고 와도 봐라 권초 숨나마도 셴 잡수 조가스 카이 민도 치타다 권초 숨라 잡수 징기스 마도 셴 권초 숨레 셴 비게다 잡 세디 징기 메스 시베 어두스 켈렌제 아니 잡수 조야 되라 아니 셴도 미마요 거네 잡수 조가시 거래.
Furthermore, seeing the Buddha as the teacher of refuge, we remind ourselves that the Buddha is completely free of any trace of fault and has perfected all good qualities, hence is a being that is stainless and and a being that is perfect. Moreover, the Buddha is able to teach the complete and unmistaken path precisely in accordance with the individual personalities of beings. Moreover, there's nothing that is unknown to the Buddha. The Buddha would never not be able to answer a question, let alone the Buddha would always be able to answer a question precisely in accordance with the needs and the ability of the beings in the Buddha's presence. And furthermore, through hearing the teachings of the Buddha and reflecting and meditating on them repeatedly over a sustained period, one will accumulate the perfect causes that will lead to good rebirth, and through making ever greater endeavor, one will be developing the causes that will lead to liberation from suffering, and moreover will lead to the generation of bodhicitta, and thereby the eventual attainment of enlightenment. This comes about in dependence on hearing the teachings of the Buddha, reflecting on them and meditating on them. So here we are encouraged to know the qualities of the three jewels and to reflect on them, and in this way, with great sincerity, that no matter what difficulties we encounter, our mind will naturally turn towards the three jewels for assistance, for guidance, for the techniques that we need to apply to deal with life's difficulties. And this approach of sincere refuge, comes about in dependence on engaging in these meditations. And this reflection that we've outlined, this should be done as our text indicates, 3 times each day, 3 times each night. In other words, when we wake up at various points throughout the day, and when we go to sleep, and as we progress in this way of thinking will naturally arise within us and stay ever present.
Konjo sumla gyatso somye ngasong dunga le gyab ni mes tisa konjo sumla gyatso songa ina gyamdo cheba ina ngasong
kapa
gyablo dile
una mare ona ale gosa
tisa da konjo sumla gyatso songa gyamdo cheba ina ngasong dunga le gyab ni gors nda konjo sumla gyatso dribe nyamle chena talbe go ba top tu go re sanje go ba top tu go ba da na ngasong da kyo na ngasong ngasunga dunga gyop nibuyena an nigor was an ngaso dunga gyop nibayina an ngaso tori so hada mi go ba thobala tori gi tin thobala an gyugane sa gores da tori gi tin thobala gyujida bo sa nyam na so kan sa gores as sumro.
And then as the text says now on the middle page 23, one may wonder, granted, taking refuge in the three jewels can protect me from the misery of lower rebirth, but how can I create the causes that bring about a higher rebirth?
Jamdro samdugu sayada dini ngorwa chizanga de jamdro kom sayade karu kumborasina dangbo kan samtana de kan stangorasine ta kowi ke penanga sungu dunga ta kowi dunga delede tagodu dunga delya chikanga du samne chi dunga diona kanga du sempike kanga samtangorwa dine kanga de samtona kanga de debe tablamleya bezu chimbole tugo kanga de gaje shukche samta tuine dele tayege tablam di bezu shukche chi tugorwa dan 지치르고 빼나다 나눠줘야돼 내ям 코로나바이러스 아지레데 디기 안에 지게 멤버다 지수게 탑람 거르딘 거래서네 안에 지게 라바야스 이지게 주고 그래서 안에 데려 슈우디게 베지 하고 땅 그래서 지 탑람 안에 지게 밀리암데 라바마 샤야다 타린 돼야다 딘 지고를 디지다 내 원고 차고 지자네 고야리아 안에 마고야 판도 연구를 해서 남든 지고로 와 지사다 나즈데 딜레도 상가 주고 빼 나즈데 고는 빼 사그레서 빼 셴나 깨체네 차상 암다 셴나 깨친 미차사는 체 상하게 이준여야당 다 남든 셴나 깨도 나즈데 빼지 강을 요래서 빼 셴나 깨와 인자 아니 멤버즈 탑람 댄셔야 될 배주 신부슈 지고로 와다 탑람 가르침 버스 이진요 거라고 장야산지 주고래서 슈베지 땅고래서 되네 슈녀야다 이제대대 카라지야다 차상 배제 다진 지수 조사디게 차상 좀 남상 조조야 돼 최고로 와 제사디 라렌 따용으로 와 딜라렌 따야데 갔다 와래서 디 나스 고여서는 빼사그래서 매 셴나 신부시래로 와 지상 강아 셴나 신부시래 봐 인자 나주딜레 타야게 람든 탑람 댄셔버들 상하 잡지안에 라란데고로 와 어비디나제레 아 저기 코와다 둥하다 코유 둥하다 네 가서 둥하래 타야게 탑람디 디 둥하디 강아 삼다바이나 디 탑람딜이야 베주시엘이 슈체리 거래 제가 탑람딜레 베주까지 슈체 제번에 아주 둥하딜레 타투고 와
As we come to the conclusion then of this topic of meditation that we've looked of refuge that we've looked at for the last month, then let's start talking, bringing this together about how to meditate on refuge, because this is something one should have as a daily practice, and because often one will do it as an actual retreat where one engages in an intensive retreat, reflecting on refuge and accumulating 100,000 refuge recitations. So for the meditation on refuge, the first topic of meditation is to reflect on the sufferings of samsara. So this is imperative, to reflect on the sufferings of samsara. And there's a precise correlation with to the degree that we have effectively meditated on the pervasive nature of suffering, that we will give rise to proportionate wish to be freed of suffering. So if we have a basic idea of suffering, our wish to be freed from that will be relatively weak. But the more profound our understanding of suffering is, coming to understand how it pervades samsara, and coming to understand the subtler levels of suffering and its causes, that will lead to an ever more transformative realization, ever more transformative wish to be freed of suffering. So we can take as an illustration what we see very much in not just our society but around the world, with tremendous fear that has arisen around the coronavirus. So people have heard in the news now for a couple of months about the dangers of contracting this disease, and in dependence on that fear, they're seeking a solution. So the government and the medical professionals have been providing a method, a technique. Wash your hands, wash them for 20 seconds, keep a spatial distance from others. If you display symptoms, isolate yourself. And people are listening to this. We can see very clearly there is a change of behavior. Our seating here has changed. We know what's happening in the supermarkets. We can see a change in behavior. That change in behavior has come about in dependence on reflection, thinking about the dangers of this illness, and following the advice that is given. So that is a very useful illustration for what we needing to do here. In all topics of meditation, we receive the teaching, we hear the advice, we reflect on it. The more deeply we reflect on it, the greater the inner transformation will be, the greater the change of our way of thinking and thereby our way of speaking and our way of acting. So this we need to apply to this and all topics. Here we're talking about the first step of the meditation on refuge, which is to reflect on suffering. And the more we reflect on suffering, gaining an ever clearer understanding of the pervasiveness of it, will give rise to an ever stronger wish to transform ourselves in order to become freed of suffering.
Dunga samta de karsolsne tanga sola jewana tang yawa ida dunro sachi ngora da yawa ida digi ngande 통고 마 내가 통쇼스 dunro samta ben dunro ya kanga 가제 yor다 군이 지 Jiki Sui Jiki Jilia Suya, Mi Simia, Ganga, Jikala Mara, Dunga Bout Mebating and Dundulia, Ganga Yobatang Tungura, which is a Dunga Bout Meba doos. She's also Dundula Kiabaina, and the Sosoina Dinik Dunga Yongo Chagdus. And the Niki Dundula Kiabaina, and the Kehoju said, Go up Unit Hagiminus. She's a Manson like Kiabaina, the Pesasa, she's a Manson like Kiabaina. And then social and also like Kiabaina, Shan Simjan Tamjing also like Kiabaina, Raja Suina also like Kiabaina, Dunga Bout Meba Yonga Gamamotus. She's a Dunga Bout Meba Yonga thing also a Tela, Condra Sayada, Chakwakia, Duasha Shadam, Nayan, Yoris, dependent about Meba Saigores. She's an Kehoju Yoko, Uni Mindus, the names are also like the best Sasares and the death, also the Matan and Tap Minus and Besam Tachiche. Then Tang also again, Hara me go on top and Jigor, they disappear Jim the Miller Yang on the Dane, Nenaza Mambo, and the Ganga, Neamre, and the Jig, Tui Tunge Tone Ganga, and the Nemshi Judo Tone Ganga, and the Jiglia, Nevachin, True Margi Ganga, today to the Ganga, the name Evan and Sim Maki Bada, Subu Nazada, Ganga Pot Mevaresha, Jesa, Koi Duma said, Jimatan the Ransha Sui and Matan the Tamidu, Sebigeda, the Niki, Koi Ganga, the Nidu, Ransha Semja Sui and Koi Duma de la Tabudu, some be some Loshita. That is some down to that Tago and that Delia, you can switch up to Gure, that the Thai robot chain, you switch up to Guration, that said, Nubasuyorson, or Delia Jubi, Nubasulia, Conjusum the Yores, that's not your conjure, getting Conjusum the Yores, and begin. Teaching the Yadi, Dambodi, some Dankomia, do some Dankom. The Negum Savage and the Garson, that Delia Jubi, Nuba, the Conjusum the Yoba Inza, Tanganzo, Rangada, Simjan, Tam, Jokovi Dunga. Sonam Dunga, Tada like Gubi, Cuba, Nuba, the consciousness, Gugre, Sambi Ichi, Delia, the some Daji, some Daja, Niba Mayan, Delia, the Nigger Lodipa, Sewu, Yeju, Gom Daddy, Danganzuge, Gom Gadi, go down on the Chagore.
When we start the reflection on the sufferings of samsara, then we start by reflecting on the tremendous sufferings that beings are experiencing right now in their lower realms. So initially, it can be quite difficult to reflect on the sufferings that are being experienced by those who are born in the hell realms or are amongst the spirits. So perhaps it's better just to concentrate on the animal realm, because at least there we can directly perceive them and we have a far clearer idea of their suffering. We reflect on the wide variety of sufferings that animals experience, how they have to endure their entire life and under constant threat of being caught by another animal, by being eaten by another animal, by being eaten without even yet being killed by another animal, as well as the core suffering they experience from the elements and the suffering they experience from being enslaved by humans. And then furthermore, their tremendous lack of capacity that they have to resolve their problems, even to resolve them for one mere life. They struggle with in terms of their mental limitations to solve their problems in this life. And then in the animal realm, they too suffer tremendously from the afflictions. There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of jealousy. We can observe this, and they suffer from these afflictions, and being under the control of their afflictions and not being able to have control over their own minds, they accumulate so much negative karma, strengthen their negative habits, act under the influence of these afflictions. So not only does a being in the lower realms suffer greatly, but it's very difficult for them to accumulate merit. So being born there, one not only suffers, but it's difficult to create causes to gain a good rebirth, a rebirth out of the lower realms. So here in this reflection, we reflect on the sufferings that beings are experiencing. And then we make it personal and think about how we could possibly cope if we had to experience such suffering right now. And naturally one will give rise to a wish then to be freed of rebirth in the lower realms. And that's a good point to come to, but we need to take it further and then reflect on the sufferings that humans are experiencing. And here again we have a lot of experience from the core sufferings such as warfare and famine, but also of discord and disharmony and a variety of forms of conflict and mental difficulties that beings are experiencing. And we reflect on the human realm and ask ourselves the question, who is not suffering? Which human being is not suffering? We reflect, is there any one situation that is freed of suffering, where lasting, stable happiness is experienced? And we come to see that there's no ordinary human being who has achieved lasting, stable happiness or who can. And this gives rise to the wish to be freed of any rebirth in samsara, because we come to see that there is nowhere within samsara that is freed of suffering, because samsara is pervaded by suffering. When we give rise to this fear for a continued uncontrolled rebirth, where we take, no matter where we are born, we suffer, our mind naturally turns to protection. Where can we go for protection? Or to translate that word protection differently, where can we go for help, for assistance, for guidance? And then we turn our mind, having generated the first cause, that of fear, we turn now towards generating the second, that of faith. And here we then engage in the reflection on the qualities of the three jewels, generating strong faith in their ability to protect us.
Dendrola keba hada mili keba dene chene dunga du sayada and dele keba inada rashinika kewa saya marawa tikba saya yoba and chigi mission le phando chena che tu minu se bi kyuen dene samtadi jegomro chagorwa jegom and dele kye nubade suludu ba chimji konjo sumla du se bi den samtadi jegomra chagore da dene ge samdanda dele kyebeni konjo sumla kyobri sami ichi kyobri sami dele jejidu samdaje 나도 좋아서 나도 참마 동아 타달래 껴봐 누가 건조숨라 여러 건조숨이 껴버리 삼 이체제 대랑 삼다 현다 마양와제 뒤지고 삼다제 제지도 삼다사 고미야디 다 조금로 차고래 제가 디네자 디네게 두 진에 삼다에는 아주 띵이진디 엔템부 줘야다 안 될량 나 지게 템비 진고고로와 된 지게 양 되게 제주도 집에 삼어디 지기도 면도 안진 야 니쇼도 면도 삼배 삼 템바팀 보체네 두체네 템바티 안 제주도 삼다도 아주 띵이진디 템부차야 단 잠바 세부차야 개발 거로 되는 자데 모수 신내디 두고 가지고 다디네게 두바인 디니 콤바이나 마오바네 신내 두바이나 아니 신내 두비알이야 셈바 내샤데 템보 야가요한테 장도로 차고로와 이제 내장아도 노스진에 제지도 삼다야디 다 조금으로 차고래 내점도 공미하세요 공미세 되는 차고로와
Those are the two key points here in the meditation on refuge. First, the sufferings of the lower realms, generating the sphere for continued uncontrolled rebirth in samsara, and then generating the second cause of refuge, where we reflect on all the qualities of the three jewels, as has been described earlier tonight, and in this way giving rise to a strong trust or conviction that it's through relying on the three jewels that we will attain freedom from suffering through the cultivation of the Dharma jewel within us. Then the way to do this meditation is exactly as has been described, and all these points are analytical meditation, where we analyze, we reflect, so we're thinking, we're taking the various points of the meditation, and again, meditation session after meditation session, we're reflecting on them. And through this repeated process, our reflection will go to deeper and deeper levels. And each time we do this meditation, when we give rise to this strong wish to be freed of suffering, we hold this in an undistracted manner. And then, after resting with that for a while, we then generate further, and we go into develop the mind of refuge through generating faith. And when faith has arisen and we generate the mind of refuge towards the three jewels, we then abide with that. We hold with that single-pointedly. So all these preceding steps of the meditation were analytical. Now we come to placement. So when the mind of trust or conviction in the three jewels arises, we hold that single-pointedly, undistractedly. So what we are doing here is several layers to it. We are, of course, generating the mind of refuge through the analytical meditation. Then through the placement meditation, we're gaining ever stronger familiarity with it. That means then, when next we meditate, it will come much more easily and will remain longer. Throughout the day, when we call it to mind, it will come to mind much more easily and remain longer. But more so, a particular aspect of this placement meditation, in addition to gaining a stronger habituation with the result of the meditation, is that we develop the mental factors of mindfulness and meditative insight. And these of stabilization, of mindfulness and stabilization. So these are required for our later development of calm abiding. So right here at the beginning of, right here in our actual meditation on refuge, we're starting to lay the groundwork for our later attainment of calm abiding. And this is done through not just relying on analytical meditation, but also placement meditation, because that strengthens our mindfulness, our stabilization, two key factors in the attainment of calm abiding.
The Kanga Kanish Shubine, Conjusum the Dungume, Sosolia, Sola Pava in Conjusumlia, Gyatso to Jamro de Palugme, Sembe sometimes night, Gyatso to Mata Gyatso Lugme, Sembege, Tangim Jamro Tangime, Sembeyane or some tire. And in Anichi, the Nigi Sanji and Jamdrogi and Labjalia and Labgin Sembege, Jamdroga Labjaka, Nislago, and he loved the touching by Chicken Sembege, some tire. The nearness I conjure some and then Jaja, Jaya, and do sin Yunden Janet, the name and do stay. Do so come some died that Jamdro Gombasi or Gom said, Neraptinishawa, Jamdro Gom said, command Tinishagoro.
And just briefly then, as our time is running up, we also would include in this meditation, as the other points we covered tonight, that whatever problems I encounter, I will always deal with them in accordance with the Dharma. And here in this context, that means I will turn for my solutions to the three jewels. It's through relying on the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha that I will deal with life's difficulties. I'll transform all problems. I will not look for solutions elsewhere, but I will always practice the path of the Buddha Dharma. And moreover, we reflect on the qualities of the three jewels, and we reflect on the trainings, these various trainings we covered last week and this week, with a commitment to, throughout our spiritual training, not just now, but throughout our training, to always act in accordance with the precepts of refuge.
Geshe Thubten Rabten share some died as a communion, so some com said, that come now is in the Chicomia, Wadi Comia. It's not the name that answer came to come said. The Tone, the Nigger come jailer, the nigger sometimes heavy shell, and to Kitty, Gavaka to Benagic, Dusine. That Jamdriki, Lapcha Charugova, many down like or to cut it to Vena, Gao to be a done deep pointy, and Java did a jaddy. Jamdriki Labjala, Lab most Legor, what I came to Labja Casana, Japsu Labjala, Tigwek Payada, Gao to Pure, says Sungorva, Cesadi, and the many Davana, Gao to ya, Korakwana, Gao to ya, and the child Seva, the Chiva Puyata, and then the Chavana, Jamni Jocomesa, Gao to Basho, Jamdriki Labjala, Palavia, Chagorva, or down to that, Dandala, once you get Jamdre Shebi, Jamdo Comnadi, that shady, those cherry, Cesar, the nigger some daddy, and the Nile, some channel, some Gazin Unity. Nina, Chanagaji, some Ram down to the other Tangores, or the Netavina, Socialia, Locomba, Church to Gores.
as we've seen here, the text emphasizes that this is a reflection we should do 3 times a day, 3 times a night. And what should this reflection be? Well, that's what we have been covering here. And in terms of the trainings, just to say, the way that we can understand the refuge trainings in brief is that the purpose of these refuge trainings is to help one accumulate virtue and to abandon negativities. So therefore, whatever one does, as long as if one is engaging in virtue and abandoning negativities, one is acting in accordance with our refuge precepts. So these refuge precepts are important to understand and to reflect on and to apply in one's life and to live one's life in accordance with them, because their objective is to ensure that we accumulate the causes for happiness and we turn away from the causes that only result in suffering. Then we'll conclude here for tonight, and next week we'll continue with this last bit that we read out, which will be talking about how we can create the causes that bring about a higher rebirth. Okay, then we will finish.